Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brittany, and if this is your first time stumbling across one of my videos, I usually focus on fashion, beauty, luxury, lifestyle, fragrances, and pretty much whatever else I feel like talking about. So if that seems like something that you may be interested in, go ahead and click on that subscribe button if you enjoyed the content, of course. Also, if you're already a subscriber, go ahead and click on that notification bell so that you do not miss an upload from me. Okay, y'all, so I know in my last Sephora savings recommendation video, I left y'all hanging with the fragrances. Y'all could not believe that the girl did not talk about fragrances, but today I am back to give you all of my fragrance recommendations. Now, keep in mind, this is the spring Sephora savings event, so I do want to kind of keep it in that realm because we can save our money for our fall fragrances when that time comes, okay? Otherwise, we'd be here for another 3 hours. So if you guys are interested in hearing my fragrance recommendations for the Sephora savings event, stick around. Okay, y'all, in no particular order, let's go ahead and get started. I'm also going to try to keep this brief because I've spoken about pretty much all of these fragrances on my channel in the past. So again, these are just the recommendations videos, but I do have a couple of new ones that we will get into detail about, okay? Okay, y'all, so the first one that I want to talk about, and again, I'm not sure if this is included because some people say they can get it on discount and some people say that they can't, okay? I guess it just depends if you're lucky enough. But I am going to mention the Chanel Chance. You guys know how much I love the eau de toilette of Chanel Chance Eau Tendre. That is the pink one, or is it Eau Tender? And this is the Chanel Chance Eau Splendide, and this is the newest fragrance from the line. This is so beautiful, you guys. It's a raspberry floral fragrance. It's fun. It's like, think of like feminine dresses, brunch, all the girly, beautiful things, but it does last to me. And for this to be a raspberry fragrance, I am really enthralled with this. It does have the Chance DNA as far as being like a clean, kind of citrusy, fruity floral. But this one is so beautiful, and I do feel like this lasts a long time. When I wear it, I get tons of compliments. You can see I have a nice little dent here, and I have not had this for long. So definitely would recommend you guys check out the Eau Splendide from Chanel, okay? Another fragrance that I really want to recommend you guys is La Bamba. This is from Carolina Herrera, and you guys know that I picked this up when I was in Greece, I believe. Yes, at the airport. It was not available in the United States, but now the US has this fragrance, and you can get this during the Sephora savings event, okay? So I love this fragrance. It has the DNA of the Carolina Herrera, you know, that kind of like musky, heavy, sexy undertone. But this one is super fruity. I believe this has some dragon fruit of pitaya in here. One of the two. It's super beautiful and feminine. It's kind of sexy. It gives me Miami vibes. Just really feminine, but a little bit more of a fun femme fatale instead of dark femme fatale. You know what I mean? So yeah, very sexy Miami vibes. I love this, and I'm so happy that I can get this now in the US because I was babysitting her, but I still have a nice little dent, okay? It's so cute. Look at that butterfly. At first I was like, wait, it kind of looks like a plug-in, but I have grown to love her. She looks so cute sitting on my dresser. And since I did mention passion fruit, let's get into some of these passion fruit fragrances because I do feel like there have been a lot of releases that are heavy on the passion fruit. First up, we have to talk about Power of You. Yes, I did talk a little bit of mess about this one in one of my last videos, but you see the dent. I'm loving her. I love a passion fruit note, okay? Definitely a huge fan. This is a very tart passion fruit, but it is balanced out in the dry down with a super creamy, just yummy vanilla. The dry down on this is so beautiful, so sexy, so creamy. I love this. But yes, if you are not a true passion fruit lover and loving all the things that passion fruit encompasses, you may struggle with this one. I've heard several people say, oh my goodness, I just love this fragrance, but it's something about that passion fruit note. This is a photorealistic passion fruit in my opinion, very tart, very puckery, and it can lean a little sour, right? But it is so balanced with that vanilla, and I absolutely love this one. Now, if you're not a fan of passion fruit at all, I did mention the men's fragrance. Now, that one does not have passion fruit at all. It's more of the vanilla that you get in the base here with some cherry notes and a few others in there. So I don't want you to think that they are the same. You know what I mean? Same notes, just masculine, feminine, not at all. The men's version has totally different notes, and I don't know if I made myself clear on my last video, but I definitely wanted to mention it this time. This one is gorgeous, you guys. I wore this out a couple times, and one night to this candlelight concert, and I got a ton of compliments. So this is so pretty, so sexy, very feminine, but still very tropical at the same time. I love Armani, you guys. Like, I love that they came out with something new. One thing I can appreciate about the house is that they don't just throw fragrances out there. A lot of them may not be my cup of tea, but I do feel like they do take their time, okay? So I love this one. And speaking of Armani, I thought I brought it out, but I definitely want to recommend the Giorgio Armani Acqua di Gioia. Favorite fragrance for the summertime. It's so clean, so fresh. I love wearing it to Pilates and just all the things. Anytime it's going to be like super hot or I feel like I'm going to be sweating, love, love, love Acqua di Gioia. That's just a tried and true old school classic. Love the intense version as well. You cannot go wrong. But back to Power of You. She's good. She does have that passion fruit note. I do feel like you need to love this, but this is something unique for the brand, and kudos to them for doing something different, you guys, especially for them. So I enjoy this. Let me know your thoughts down below. I will have it linked. Okay, next up, I did recently pick this one up during the sale. This is the new Chris Collins Papaya and Mango fragrance. It's called Sunset in Tamarindo. I think I'm pronouncing that correct. This is the fragrance. This is really beautiful. This is what I would consider to be a tropical, fruity, floral fragrance. It's not overly sweet. So this one is going to open up with notes of mandarin, papaya, davana, and mango. You definitely get something very floral and green in the top notes while still getting the fruity notes as well. In the mid, you're going to get ylang ylang, frangipani, and osmanthus, which just adds a little bit of a creamy touch. But keep in mind, I'm listing a lot of florals here for it to be a fruity fragrance. And then in the base, you're going to have some sandalwood, vanilla, and musk. I don't get much vanilla. I definitely get the musk. I do feel like the osmanthus and the vanilla just gives this a little hint of sweetness. But overall, this is a fruity floral fragrance that is very elevated. If you have tried any of the Chris Collins fragrances, you know he does fragrance in a way that is super elegant, elevated, and just fairly unique in my opinion. Like if you ever see a fragrance and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this seems like it's going to be so fruity, so fun. It's always going to have a little bit of maturity to it without being like old lady. I hate saying that, but it's not old lady. It's just very elevated. He does not just stop at fruity floral. He adds so many different elements, and I feel like a lot of his fragrances are very complex. So if you do like something like that, let's say you are looking for a nice tropical fruity fragrance, but you want it to be elevated because you're more of a Creed girl, you're more of a, you know, YSL, like the exclusive line type of girl. If you like those super niche fragrances, this will be a nice fruity floral for you. Okay, so I do really like this. But I do have to keep in mind, it's not going to be sweet, juicy, tropical. Okay, this is definitely fruity, floral, and very elevated. It's a gorgeous fragrance. I like it a lot. Now, speaking of mango, one that took me by surprise is going to be Chasing Sunsets. This is from the Replica Maison Margiela line. Love this so much. This has tropical mango and solar flowers. Y'all, this one is so beautiful. If I had to compare the two, this would be a little bit more on the unisex, clean, cool girl side. And then the Chris Collins would be more on the elevated, very buttoned up kind of, you know, feminine vibe. Okay. But this one is still very beautiful, very sexy, still sweet to me. I love the way this smells, but I also love the sandalwood that I get in the base. Think if like Le Labo did a fruity mango fragrance. And it's not too solar forward either, because I am not a fan of a sunscreen note in a fragrance by any means. So this one is really, really, really nice. I do feel like I would reach more for this one. I love the way this lays on my skin. It is so beautiful, y'all. And I do recommend you get your nose on this one. I feel like this is done so well for the brand that I could wear this all year round. I'm going to put a little on now Oh yes, I just love this. You got to let it dry down a little bit because the mango in this is a bit green. You get almost like the rind of the mango. But that like sandalwood, the sweetness in here is so beautiful. Let me actually pull up the notes. Yes, so the notes are very simple. You're going to have mango, you're going to have some tuberose, and you're going to have some sandalwood. I definitely get the tuberose in this, okay? So it is very similar in the way that this is like a fruity, elevated floral, but this one is just a little bit more on the woody side, if you will, and this one is more on the floral side. So love these both, and I just can't believe how much I fell in love with this one because I don't really own any replica fragrances that I reach for in my collection. This one is really good, y'all, and it lasts. Okay, so next up, I want to talk about an oldie but a goodie, and it's so funny because they're coming out with so many different fragrances. The fact that this is now an oldie is crazy. I think it's only been out a year, but this is Phlur's Golden Rule, you guys. Oh my goodness, I love this so much. This is such a creamy kind of citrusy fragrance that's elevated. It does have that underlying like Phlur DNA in there, but I really enjoy this one. I can mix this actually. Yes, this one is so pretty to me. Something about this is so like candy creamy in a way. Oh my goodness, I love it. So when I think of fragrances like Golden Rule, I actually think of like mixing this with a body butter, like the Golden Hour from Josie Maran, or even Topless Tangerine, something like that. Very citrusy but creamy. Even the Fenty one, if you were able to get your hands on Orange Sorbet, so nice. By the way, if you missed out on the Guava Fenty Body Butter Drop, keep in mind they do have a set and it has the mini and also a nice little lip oil. Okay, I will link that down below just in case you guys are interested because that's one of my favorite like candy-like fragrances from the Fenty Butter Drops. So, but yeah, y'all, this is Phlur's Golden Rule. It's just like a nice, elevated, creamy, kind of citrusy floral fragrance. Perfect for wearing all year round, but I waited to pull this back out during this time. Today it was 76 degrees and it's just perfect. It definitely reminds you of like golden hour, sun setting, just smelling really beautiful and feminine. Oh, it's just really nice. I really like this one. I find that Phlur fragrances may not wow you at the beginning, but these are fragrances that are meant to be lived in my opinion. And I do feel like that is like how the brand operates as well. You really got to give it time. If you are a fragrance lover and you have like 150 fragrances, you know, these may not stand out to you, but if you are more of a signature scent girl, you will really appreciate the Phlur line. They have some really good ones, y'all. So you do have to sit with them a bit because there are so many other fragrances out there that are just so like bam in your face. And these just kind of develop and like engulf you. And it's just beautiful. The next one is by Phlur as well. This is the newest release. This is Honeymoon. I fell in love with this. Now, keep in mind, this is coming from someone who is not a honey lover when it comes to her fragrances. Honey can get very funky to me on the skin. I am not a fan, but this absolutely gorgeous. It's a creamy kind of powdery honey, very sweet. Again, you need to let this sit on the skin. The way this dries down is so beautiful. It kind of just reminds me of just like this feminine woman that is, you know, giving herself some self-care, kind of like a milk bath or something like that. Just absolutely gorgeous. It's a very like elevated, soft scent that will last. This lasted on me, y'all. I wore this. I wasn't planning on doing all the things I did that day, but I did wear this to brunch. It was so hot. Oh my gosh. It was baking outside. One of the only weekends we had like just perfect weather. Then we went to a day party. Now I wouldn't have typically worn this at a day party. Okay. If I had known, I would have worn something much more fresh, much more floral, because that's just how I like to smell when I know I'm going to be outside and it's hot. Because this has like the honey, it has the vanilla and all the things, but this lasted. When I tell you it was cutting through that heat, this stuff smells so good. Oh, I love it. I feel like you can wear this all year round, but just keep in mind, if you're going to be outside hot and sweaty, wouldn't really recommend that. But this would be beautiful for just like a chill date night, very casual dinner, something like that, or just an everyday fragrance. I can totally see this being signature scent worthy. The notes in this are lavender and mandarin in the top. You also have some honey, manuka, orange blossom, and saffron in the middle. I can definitely smell the saffron in this. And then in the base, you have vanilla, tonka bean, and sandalwood. And again, the sandalwood just makes this super creamy and beautiful. It's so feminine, so like powdery and smooth and like velvety. I love this one so much. And this is very unique for me in my collection because again, I don't like honey fragrances. Okay, so yeah, this is good. Okay, another one that kind of surprised me, y'all, is this one from Phlur. This is called Lovely and a Little Twisted. This smells so good. This is like a rose pistachio fragrance, but it's fresh. I really, really, really enjoy this one. Oh my goodness. I love the way this smells. I have a travel of this, so I've been wearing it. And that is what kind of made me fall in love with this because I knew I loved the fragrance, but it reminded me of something that I already had, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I had the travel size and I kept it in my car. I would just throw a little bit on, just throw a little bit on, throw a little bit on. And I fell in love with this because though it does remind me of another fragrance, this one is way more fresh and it's not as heavy. So whereas I would wear this during the day and it's just beautiful. If you like rose, oh my gosh, if you like rose and pistachio, I think you will really enjoy this. And the pistachio is not done in the way that like the Kayali Yum pistachio is done. That's more of a fresh, soapy. This is still very creamy, still very nutty, but not heavy. It's like uplifting. I really, really, really enjoy this one. So if you haven't checked out Lovely and a Little Twisted, and how cute is that name, I definitely would check it out. Also, the cool thing about this is that you can use the top as a candle holder, and this is just a piece of art. This is something that looks gorgeous on a minimalist dresser or a vanity. I love this. And out of all of them, I will say this one is my absolute favorite. Okay, so again, Phlur, Lovely and a Little Twisted. Get your nose on this one. I highly recommend it. Now, speaking of what this reminds me of, I'm gonna have to tell you, you need Forvr Mood's She Was Here. Look at my dent, y'all. I love this fragrance. This is very similar to Lovely and a Little Twisted, but this has just a little bit more oomph to it, something a little bit more sexy. It's not as uplifting and fresh. This is good, okay? It is so addictive as well. I fell in love with this one the same way because at the time I had pistachio fatigue when this came out, but I did run and get it. And when I tell you, I got so many compliments on this. Like every time I go out, I get compliments on it. And you know, we all know that Forvr Mood they have more of a light fragrance, but I do find that I get compliments on them. So yes, they are a little bit more closer to the skin, but people can smell you. And I've gotten the most compliments when I wear this one. I cannot count how many people have complimented me on this fragrance, like me walking into the room and they're like, oh my gosh, you smell so good. I remember telling you guys when I was out at a bar late at night and this girl was literally screaming in my ear. We were screaming back and forth because we couldn't hear each other. The music was so loud, but she was trying to get this fragrance. She was like, girl, write it down, like for real. So she loved this one. And I feel like she went and got it immediately because I saw her on her phone, kind of like, you know, looking it up. But yeah, this is really, really, really good. I would say my favorite, one of my favorites from the line. Y'all know I'm a lemon gourmand girl, so I love that one, the lemon one. But She Was Here, I feel like a lot of people will enjoy this, okay? I feel like the others, they could be a little bit hit or miss depending on your taste. I do feel like this one checks all the boxes. It's feminine, it's sexy, it's flirty, you know, it lasts longer than a lot of the others. It's really, really good. It's addictive, okay? Speaking of Black-owned brands, I have to talk about Brown Girl Jane. This is high tea, fabulous. Oh my gosh, oh my God. This one's so good. This is like milk tea to me. This is macarons, I believe. Like a milky macaron. Just, I never smell anything like this. Never have smelled anything like this. This is so feminine, but so creamy. It's almost edible, but you definitely smell the floral. Y'all, if you have not smelled high tea, please get your nose on this and let it sit too. This one gets better over time. This is fabulous. I do want to try out her new peach aura, but I'm scared because I'm not big on peach. And I do feel like I've smelled a few of her fragrances and they all have this kind of like underlying, I don't know if it's like a woody DNA. This has a little bit of that in the base, but I feel like it helps with the longevity of her fragrances. Let me actually look up the notes and see what that may be, because that's the only reason why I haven't picked up peach. And what I don't want is a woody peach fragrance. I have the Tom Ford bitter peach. That's, you know, that's like a woody peach to me. I like that one actually. It grew on me over the years. I really enjoy it. I think it's over there. Yeah. So this one is called High Tea. Let's look up the notes. Okay, so this is considered to be an amber floral, which yes, it does have some amber in here, and that's probably what a lot of her fragrances do have, because they do sit well on the skin, but that amber note in every single thing, it kind of just makes some of them run together. This one is very unique. Okay, so the top notes, we have Madeline cookies, we have macarons, and masala chai. In the mid, we have orange flower water. That keeps this very fresh, and the freesia as well. And then we also have some milk. And then in the base, you have amber, sandalwood, and biscotti. Y'all, this is really, really, really good. This is what I would consider to be a spring gourmand. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. High tea is perfection. Think coquette. Think, you know, floral dress. Having tea and crumpets, that's what you're getting with this. Super feminine energy, just so beautiful. And I do feel like a younger crowd would enjoy this because, again, being that she has like amber in a lot of her fragrances, I feel like they're woody. I don't know, they kind of sit woody on the skin. This one doesn't do that. This is so beautiful. I love this so, so, so much. And it also has a little bit of a powdery quality to it. Fabulous. Also, speaking of supporting Black-owned businesses, yes, I did put my money where my mouth was because I picked up Carousel, y'all. Now, I did hesitate to pick this up simply because I have the Cirque du Soleil fragrance. I feel like this smells very similar to this. However, I have a story. I was in Atlanta a couple years ago for the Usher concert that ended up getting canceled. Went out with Tierra Monet, and she had Roxy with her. I don't know if you guys follow Roxy Slay. I think that's her name, Roxy Slay. Either way, she does a lot of fragrance content. She has a huge fragrance collection, and she was wearing this, and she had the whole bottle in her purse. So I was like, oh my gosh, you smell so good. Like it was radiating off of her, and we were in the club, child. So she was like, it's Carousel. And I was like, you know what? It does remind me of Cirque du Soleil. And she said, yeah, very similar, but this one is a little less on the gourmand side. I agree. I get more apple in this, okay? And so I definitely have to pick it up, but also more florals in this. Definitely more florals, because that Cirque du Soleil can lean heavy gourmand. It's a beautiful fragrance, but the popcorn note is very edible, okay? This one is a little bit more floral. Let's see if they have the notes. They do. So this one is sparkling black currant, spun sugar, lily of the valley, coral rose, orange blossom, sandalwood cream, cloud musk, and cherry leather. None of that sounds like anything from Cirque du Soleil. And now that I actually have this in my collection, it doesn't smell quite like that, but maybe she had hers layered, because y'all know one thing about Roxy is she's going to layer 4 to 5 fragrances, okay? But this, I'm happy that I do have this. I don't have anything that really smells like this. This is a really nice, I would say, cherry apple floral woody fragrance, okay? Really cute. Really, really cute. Easy. And I just love the bottles, y'all. Out of the two, I'm going to tell you to get high tea. Most unique thing I've ever smelled that smells like gourmand and sweet like this, but this one is good too. Out of all of them, these are my 2 favorite, okay? So definitely had to pick that up, and like I said, put my money where my mouth is, because I tell y'all to support, I'm definitely going to support too. Hello. Now, speaking of another Black-owned brand, of course, we had to talk about Showgirl, y'all. This is Harlem Perfume Co.'s fragrance. And this has some lavender, it has some orange blossom, a lot of things that I don't like. but this is so beautiful. It's so zesty and bright and uplifting. I keep saying that, but we're talking spring, okay? But this is also just not your run-of-the-mill. This kind of reminds me of Libre, but way more just my vibe, way more zingy and sparkling. You know what I mean? It's giving showgirl. It smells really feminine and beautiful. And the lavender in here is not very herbally either. So I really enjoy this. If you do like a Libre fragrance, but you're looking for something a little less mature, I do feel like showgirl fits the bill. This is really good. Again, another Black owned business. And look at the bottle. I just love this top. It just, look at that. That is so cool to me. I love this. They also have another one called Langston that a lot of people talk about. They say it smells like the Killian, what is that fragrance called, y'all? Killian's Angel Share. I have 3 bottles of Angel Share. I purchased on my own, and then I started getting them in PR. So I don't need another one that even smells like that, because I do like Angel Share, but she's very thick and heavy. Winter, fall only for me. This one is so beautiful. I like this. So check out Harlem Perfume Co. They have a few different fragrances, but this was one that I blind bought, and it was surprisingly so beautiful. I love this fragrance. Okay, y'all, we're getting down to our last few. I have another Black owned business here. This is Chris Collins again. This is going to be the Forbidden Apple. Y'all, something's wrong with my travel. This smells so good. Okay, this is like an apple fragrance. If you're not an apple lover, please do not be afraid of this, because he does fragrance very different. Chris Collins is just different. Okay, he's just different. This has some oud in here as well. Don't be afraid. It is not a stinky oud. It's not overly oudy and like masculine. This is just a beautiful, sexy, seductive, sweetened, slightly like appley fragrance. If you want to smell sweet, but you still want to smell elevated, highly recommend this. Forbidden Apple, so good. I've talked about this a few times on the channel. Okay, next up, we have Commodity Milk Orchid. Now, I thought this was limited edition. I purchased this, and I was so happy to get this in my collection. This is in collaboration with Perfumerism. I think that's her name. Her name is actually Christelle Laprade. Okay, it's a collaboration. So in this is fig, milk, coconut cream, almond blossom, vanilla orchid, warm cotton, magnolia, and then in the base you have some macadamia milk and sandalwood. This is a part of the milk line, so it's kind of like a flanker. This is just going to be a fig milk tea type of fragrance. Very just feminine, easy, soft, pillowy. Think of white cotton sheets. You know, just beautiful. I love a cotton note in a fragrance. I love that. And I also love the fact that she mixed it with the milk. You know what I mean? So it just gives it this creamy vibe. Think Blanche Bette. If you are familiar with that fragrance, this one is way more affordable, but also is not as mature. This is a beautiful, easy reach type of fragrance. If you like milky fragrances, I think you will really enjoy this. I'm not a huge fan of fig, and I'm definitely not a huge fan of Commodity Milk, any of them, okay? But this one I do enjoy, and I do have Blanche Bette. I do find myself reaching for this a little bit more. Now, the packaging on the re-release, now that it is available, I think permanently, it looks a little bit different. I do hate that they kind of changed the packaging, because this, you know, the packaging for Commodity is very masculine, and the new one is kind of masculine. So this packaging just gave a little bit of a girly feel, and to me it was very indicative of the fragrance. But you know, the juice is still the same. I actually have it because I received it in PR. It smells the exact same. So again, this is Milk Orchid from Commodity. Highly recommend you get your nose on this, especially if you missed out during the time where it was kind of like a special release. Okay, y'all, so let's move into some peach fragrances. The first one that I want to recommend is going to be the Lancome Peaches and Roses. This, baby, this is so strong. This will cut through anything, okay? This is a very floral, heavy, heavy, heavy floral peach and rose fragrance. That's it. Think the original Lancome Idole. and just sprinkle some juicy, juicy, juicy puckery peach on top, and you will have this. Please do not go into this beautiful bottle and thinking just peach and a hint of rose. No, it is very much rose with a little peach on top. But the way that this is done is so nice because Lancome Idole is a very floral heavy line. Okay, I love the way they added the fruit in this, so it just made it a little bit more fun, but it still kept that original DNA. This one is really good. It's so strong, it will last you for hours and hours and hours. So just, you know, keep that in mind. Very floral. You have to like florals. This is good though. Fresh floral too. These are fragrances that I wear when it's burning up outside. When I know it's going to be hot, I still want to be smelled, but I know it's going to be fresh enough to where it's going to cut through any weird odors that the atmosphere may have. Okay, so love, love, love this one. It's very strong. I do mix it, and we're going to talk about what I mix it with right now. So yes, 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 I did pick up the new Kayali Eden Sweet Peach. I am a fan of the Eden line, y'all. I have the apple one, I have the lychee one, but I do keep in mind that these are for layering, in my opinion. Okay, so a little bit of a story. I did go into store and smell these before the sale, and I sprayed this one and the pear one on my hand. On the dry down on both, they both reminded me of a fragrance that Kayali already has. This one on the dry down reminds me of the Wedding Silk Santal with that same like nectarine peachy type of vanilla dry down, and then the pear one reminded me of my completely empty bottle of vanilla candy rock sugar, which has a pear note at the top. Okay, but these are way more juicy, way more splashy, if you will. People have been saying they are like body splash. I can understand that. I thought the same thing when I got, you know, the candied lychee. So these are beautiful little fun fragrances, and I love layering these with fragrances that I feel are just a little too serious. Okay, so this one can lean very serious, but when you put this on top, this little sweet juicy peach, because this does open super juicy. Let's see the notes. This has sweet peach, red apple, frangipani, nectarine, oak moss, and musk. You can see why I would think it smells like the Wedding Silk Santal. Very similar notes, but this one is very juicy, almost like you can drink it juice. This on top of this, it just makes it a little bit more fun. It adds more peach to it. It's like pouring on peach juice on top of this floral peach concoction. Beautiful match made in heaven. And these are not overly expensive. Now, well, let me take that back, child, because listen, they did go up in price. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. But this is the time to get this. Even if you just try out a travel spray and you already have this, I think it's worth layering the two, and just come back and let me know what you think. Because now that I have this, I'm not wearing this without it. Fabulous. I love these as a pair. They go together real bad. And same with the pear one. I was very tempted. I like the pear, but on the dry down, it's given this. Now, I do feel like the pear on top of this would be so much more fun, because if you know anything about vanilla candy rock sugar, this is very sweet, but it gets real dense the more you have it. And that's when I fell in love with it. So it gets a lot more serious than when you first have it. Way more perfumey, and it's just good. But then putting that like juicy Eden pear on top. Okay, now we're getting back to fun, you know, fun girl in the sun. Okay, so I do enjoy them, but this was the only one I felt the need to add to my collection. Being that I'm not a huge peach lover, this one is just like peach rings, very candy-like, and it just really helps me with my serious peach fragrances. Okay, so this one is just a little fun topper. Also, when it comes to the Kayali Eden line, she does have a set out now, and it does include the two new Eden flankers. flavors, okay? So if you don't want to get a full bottle, or if you want to try the whole Eden line, which is the apple, the lychee, the pear, and the peach, you can get the set. And I will link that down below. I do believe it's $100, but you get the ones that look like this in the 10 mil instead of just like a stick. You know what I mean? Like just a little tube of fragrance. So it's still fun and you still get the experience. Highly recommend that to just try out the entire line. Now, speaking of like fruity floral fragrances, I have to mention Mutine from Miu Miu. This has a lot of mixed reviews. I know a lot of people who love it, but I'm actually shocked that some don't. I guess it's because this is very floral, but then people are obsessed with Destin from Balmain. I'm confused because Destin from Balmain is way more mature, way more floral with a hint of strawberry. I definitely smell the strawberry in this. It reminds me of the same strawberry that I get in the Burberry Her, but this one is a little bit more on the floral side, okay? So I love me some Mutine. This is just a beautiful everyday feminine fragrance that you can pull for when you know you need something that's going to last all day. You have a little bit of fruitiness, a little bit of creaminess. It has that brown sugar, so it gives it the sweetness, but it's still perfumey. You know what I mean? I like this a lot, y'all. So let me know what y'all think about the Mutine. I had to mention this because this has been a fragrance that I've really been enjoying. And I love Burberry Her, but this one is just a little bit more elevated in my opinion. So this one is fabulous. Let me know what y'all think. Now, this is the last actual fragrance that I want to recommend. I have a few others that I'm going to talk about, but this is going to be the newest Good Girl. This is Jasmine Absolute. Now, this is not necessarily something I would wear in the heat, okay? I don't know why they just came out with this, but I love this fragrance. It is my favorite out of the Good Girl line, except for La Bamba because that's just totally different. But out of the heels, this one's my favorite, y'all. It smells so good. It has some tonka bean, some praline in here, and it is just so sweet and creamy. If you like the original, but you want it like more of a gourmand touch, this is going to be that, and these can be quite expensive. So I do recommend you add this to cart. Now, it's up to you. If you wear Good Girl all year round, by all means. I don't. I would not, you know. But this one is a really good addition to the lineup. It's just like a gourmand version of the original Good Girl. Very good. So, and I like the little jasmine flower on here. So cute. So yeah, I love that one. So those are pretty much all the fragrances that I want to recommend. Now, I do want to mention that Sephora now has a lot of luxury brands that are new on the website. The first is going to be the YSL luxury line, not the regular YSL, this line. Okay, these are the luxury lines. Now, I have Tuxedo. I've had this for a while. I don't reach for this anymore. I used to be this girl down. Like, I used to live for a Creed, like anything that was going to give very grown, you know, oud and all the things. And lately I've just been more into fun fragrances. I think it's just being that I've been working from home. I don't have a need for something like this, you know, something serious all the time. But this one is good, y'all. Now, this is for my grown women out there, okay? This is not for the faint of heart. This is basically patchouli and rose. And it has some other notes in here. To me, this is unisex leaning feminine, but you have to like patchouli fragrances, okay? You have to get your mind there because I don't dislike patchouli. I'm just not always in the mood for it, okay? This is very patchouli heavy, but it has some spiciness in here. It's just a really grown, sexy type of fragrance. This is something that you can wear to a gala, honey. You can wear it to work, but something that you would wear to a gala, very dressed up, all black. You know what I mean? Black tie event. That's this. But they have the entire line. You can get Baby Cat if you want. They have Muse. I mean, they have a few. They have, I think, the entire line on there. So definitely check out the YSL luxury line, especially if you are rouge like myself. You can get 20% off. That is unheard of when it comes to these type of fragrances. Okay, so I definitely wanted to mention that. Also, I want to mention that Born to Stand Out is now on Sephora, and that was a huge shock to me because that is a niche house. I mean, and they're pretty hard to find sometimes. I think it's called DGAF. Now, I don't think that one's on there, but I have been curious about Sugar Addict, and there's another one that's called Candy something I've been very curious about. That is a new brand on Sephora. So this is your time to pick that up, especially if you're a rouge and you get that 20%, but even 15% is really nice too when it comes to these niche brands. You also have your Montals on there as well. And they're not overly expensive. I also love their travel sizes because they look the exact same, just skinny. So yeah, keep in mind they do have these new luxury brands on Sephora. So this is the perfect time to kind of delve into those and try them out. And they have travel sizes for Born to Stand Out, which I've never seen in my life. I've never seen it. So anyway, y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed this Sephora Savings recommendation video, fragrance edition. Let me know some of your favorite fragrances in the comment section down below, or the ones that you picked up during the savings event. I still have a few days, so I may need to, you know, add some to cart. So let me know some of your favorites that you have your eye on, or that you actually picked up, or you will be picking up. Make sure to check out that description box. I would really appreciate it if you support me and the channel by clicking on those links, and I will talk to you on my next one. Bye, y'all. She comfortable.